Entertainment mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been the subject of intense speculation in the wake of shocking allegations of sexual abuse over the last few months. His legal woes increased dramatically when federal authorities raided his properties in Miami and here in L.A. in March. L.A. Times crime reporter Richard Winton told us how the R. Kelly prosecution could provide a roadmap for the government's probe into Diddy. Richard, great to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Tell us about these accusations and who's making them.
Okay, so basically what we have, since last fall, we've had a series of lawsuits filed by women, and actually in one case, a male producer, basically alleging a series of sexual assaults, kidnaps, being held hostage, essentially forced to do things. And this is stretching back, like 15 years all told. And many of the accusations mirror each other. They started one with his former girlfriend, Cassie, recording artist, who made a series of accusations, which he then promptly settled within 24 hours, which kind of set the stage for others to file suit pretty quickly. Now we have four women and one male producer who made a lot of very detailed accusations. For instance, in Cassie's case, she's said time, place, what happened. She documented some of her injuries. She was basically forced to do sex acts with other persons, she's alleged, with Mr. Combs present. These allegations were very detailed. That has triggered, however, a sort of next stage.
Well, the civil lawsuits were one thing, but now it's criminal, and there was a raid.
Yeah, we had a very, very public raid. Homeland Security investigations with dozens of heavily armed agents and armored vehicles stormed into his Holmby Hills mansion, basically held his sons at gunpoint and basically searched for electronic devices and data and all kinds of things. They took even the security cameras out of the place. They also did the same at his Star Island home in Miami. And they also detained him at an airport in Miami as well. But they basically were taking everything electronic they could gather, every piece of paper, all kinds of stuff, basically trying to gather information which supports these allegations.
You've been covering crime for decades, Richard. What does it tell you that they would actually get the search warrants and remove all this material from a suspect's home?
Having talked to a lot of prosecutors who handled these kind of cases, what they say is, that means you're a long way down the road. You have to have a lot of evidence to go to a federal magistrate and prove that you have probable cause for this search warrant. And that means you can show some things, but some of them already say there's stuff in the Cassie lawsuit and other things which show quite a lot of probable cause. It's not like you don't know stuff has been going on. These people, some of them are not connected at all, have made some very similar allegations. It's also likely they have more material than we know publicly.
Meanwhile, there was an arrest of another guy in Florida. What does he have to do with it?
When they went to his plane, he was supposedly getting on a plane to go on vacation in Florida. There was a guy, 25-year-old former Syracuse basketball player who's a part of his entourage. Well, they stopped and detained him, and they were looking for electronics. At the same time, the Miami police were there, and they found cocaine and marijuana candy, and he was, of course, whisked away on a couple of felony charges. But beyond that, this case, according to sources we've spoken to, is basically allegations of sex trafficking, which means that they're not just alleging he sexually assaulted one person, but he moved people around. There's an allegation in one of these women claims in the lawsuits, she's a minor at the time of this event, which could really create a lot of heavy jeopardy. But sex trafficking can also just mean moving people from place to place for the purpose of sex, coercing people in these actions. So there's a lot of leeway into what they could be looking at. And Homeland Security investigations is very experienced in this kind of case. Everyone's heard of the FBI and knows a lot about what they do, but when it comes to sex crimes and stuff on a sort of federal level, this is the agency which specializes in it.
But as you wrote, sex trafficking for adults, those cases, hard to prove. But what can they learn from the R. Kelly case?
Well, in the R. Kelly case and a number of other cases, this case is being generated by the Southern District of New York. And the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office and the Eastern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office both had a series of cases where they pursued sex trafficking cases one involving a cult, one involving students at Sarah Lawrence College were exploited. And then most famously, the one with the R. Kelly. In each one of these cases, they didn't just pursue sex trafficking. They basically used the racketeering, the RICO laws, the laws which took down John Gotti, the various mob families. In the R. Kelly case, the prosecutor was actually someone who prosecuted the mob. And if they're pursuing this case against Sean Diddy Combs, his lawyers are going to be aware that they're basically going to probably allege some sort of racketeering where the organization has a specific purpose of furthering the sex trafficking for Mr. Combs, allegedly.
Do we know where Diddy is? Has he given any sort of response?
Even before the raid, he was saying it's just completely untrue, unthinkable, just ridiculous that these accusations are being made. After the raid, his lawyer pushed back even further, described the raid as militaristic, outrageous. You know, the mother of his children put out a video of the event to show how aggressive the investigators. There was a little drone you could see came with the HSI agents. So there's a lot of pushback, but we won't know where this is going until probably something literally lands on a desk somewhere. Either they say this isn't happening, or literally you see an indictment.
Richard Winton covers crime for the LA Times. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.